like this, 'cause the music makes me high. And if I only got one more night, I'm gonna leave out a loud goodbye.
This gonna be
What
the
up?
type
What
of
up?
night they
What up? It's your boy, Mr. Von. Mr. Von Channel Sweatbox. We back. We live, reactive here on the channel. Yes, indeed. You know how we do. Still dodging those digital jabs, baby. And let's talk Rick and Morty Season 6, Episodes 1 and 2. Solar Rick and Rick A More Well Lived. Those are the episodes titles of episodes 1 and 2. So we'll start with episode 1 and then we'll do episode 2. So basically, if you want a timestamp, I'm gonna do a full breakdown of each episode. So this is gonna be kind of long. Episode 1, Solar Rick, based on with a play on the movie Solaris, starring George Clooney, picks up basically where the end of season 5 left off, after evil Morty broke the finite curve and was able to escape, leaving the citadel of Rick's in shambles. No portal fluid. Rick and Morty were stranded on one of the saucers with a bunch of Mortys just floating out in space. We get a straight in-game opening like we did. They straight rip off in-game with Morty and Rick barely deaf. Rick's narrating his life like Robert Downey, like Tony Stark did at the beginning of Endgame, and then Beth comes to save him, and she starts cracking this joke, trying to crack a joke, and they're like, "This is the corniest joke ever. It's not funny." And then she gets the attitude, "Well, maybe I won't rescue you." It was great. It was so funny how mad they were at her joke. They're like, "Oh, it's corny." It's corny. He starts acting like he's chewing on. It's corny. So then they get back to the house and they realize they got no portal fluid. So Rick decides he's gonna reconfigure the portal gun and the portal fluid so he can use it again. But instead of reconfiguring the portal gun fluid, he reconfigures portal gun travelers. So anybody that's ever traveled through the portal gun gets reverted back to their original universe, which means Rick, Morty, and Jerry, because they had the Jerry swap at the Jerry Berea. Morty goes back to Cronenberg world. Rick goes back to his original world where his wife died. So you remember the whole story that we got in the Rick Shank Redemption was basically true about that. And the original Rick, which was Morty's original Rick from the Cronenberg world, was the one who killed Rick's wife. And so he went back to the Cronenberg Morty's world hoping that Rick would return so he could kill him. But he never did. And so he just stayed with the family and all of that. The crazy thing is when he gets back, in a way to punish himself, he made an AI ghost of his dead wife, who's always just one room away, and she's just nagging him. She says things like, "Oh, hope you'll be able to save your dead family this time. You know you can do everything except save your dead family." She's cold-blooded with it. I mean, she's cold-blooded with it. It was hilarious. So, meanwhile, Morty, back on the Cronenberg world, runs into Jerry from the Cronenberg world, and he's just evolved Jerry, alpha apex predator on the planet. And then Morty finds out that his original Beth and his original mom and his original Summer are dead, because in a Rick Shank Redemption, when the other Ricks came in and they froze Jerry, Beth, and Summer, and left him there. He said they were frozen in ice for a while. Beth got sick from it, and Summer just didn't thaw right. So bad. It's so bad. Oh man, but this episode was hilarious. The way Jerry evolved into just a savage. And Morty tried to calm him back and say, "Hey, let's play downbeat." He's like, "Yeah, sure." He goes to get downbeat. Jerry steals all his shit. Jerry stole all of his shit and wrote him a note, and then wrote another note. When he set the trap for Morty, "Hey, I didn't know I had to write this note quickly for the trap." It was hilarious, man. I was dying. Oh, this show is so stupid. So then once Rick realizes that all the originals have been transported back to their original universe, that's when he feels like he can get a chance to go get the Rick and killed his wife. So he goes, and they have this showdown. He realizes it's a trap, and Morty's like, "Bro, we gotta go." So he finally decides to let him go and save Morty and save Beth and Summer, who were under attack, because they had to help him get back to the original universe since he doesn't have his portal gun anymore. And there's a whole side quest of the two Beths, Space Beth and regular Beth, and Summer. They're the ones on the side. Summer gets these Wolverine claws. She thinks she's hard. What's dope is in the case with the Wolverine claws, there's like Thor's hammer, Magneto's helmet, Cyclops' visor. And at the beginning, when Rick's monologuing about his death, he's like, "Morty, why aren't you writing this down? I don't have a helmet that records things like the like that Avengers guy." And Morty's like, "Hey, a second ago when you pretended to not know who Iron Man was, who was that for?" I love the humor on this show. It just cracks me up. It just cracks me up. So then, so anyway, after Jerry tries to betray Rick, and after Jerry tries to betray Morty, Morty finds him, and Jerry tells him, "Look, man, I ain't got no love for you. You left us. I'm by myself. I'm solo. That's the only way I survive." He leaves Morty again, and then Rick finally comes and saves Morty, and they go pick up Jerry, who's in season 2 Jerry Land, where he's just getting berated by the whole family because he doesn't have a job. So he gets up and leaves. And he sees Beth, the real Beth. He's like, "You know what? I'm kind of glad we had that time apart." He goes back. He talks shit to the whole family. He's like, "I'm a damn interdimensional traveler. So fuck you guys." Jerry was great. Jerry was like the best thing in this episode. Between that and the and the evolved version of Jerry on the Cronenberg world, that was awesome. So it looks like Rick Prime might be the main antagonist of this season, as Rick still tries to track him down. Yeah, that was so. And then the whole side plot of the two Beths kind of arguing over Summer. And Summer's like, "Man, I don't care. Yeah, it'd be cool if you were around more, but I'm a teenager. Don't try to fight over my affection. I'm out of here." And then the Beths come into turn where it looks like Space Beth is going to be around more, which is cool. We like that. So, and then the episode ends with season 2 Jerry, who got transported back to the original world. He has this thing. He's like, "What is this, Rick?" And he lets it out. It's like this little thing called Mr. Frundles. "I'm Mr. Frundles." And then he bites Jerry on the leg, and Jerry's leg bulges. He's like, "I'm Mr. Frundles." And Rick is like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." They gotta leave the whole planet, because within like 10 minutes, Mr. Frundles done turned the whole planet into Mr. Frundles. As they're leaving Earth, you see him suck up the ocean, and it's just his face as he bites another continent. And he's like, "I'm Mr. Frundles." I was like, "What the hell?" Beth is like, "Why the fuck would you bring that thing into our house, Rick?" Rick's like, "What? It was cute. What do you want me to do?" Oh, and so the post-credit scene. So they have to go to another planet, and they do the whole thing where they find another world, and they're burying the dead bodies. The only difference in that world is they pounce Parmesan. It was so great. And the post-credit scene, Rick Prime runs into Jerry from Cronenberg world, and Jerry almost kills him. He hits him with the fatality. Jerry wins, but Rick, being immortal, basically heals his throat and then murders Jerry on Cronenberg world. So now the Cronenberg world loop is basically closed because everybody there is dead. Morty's original family is dead. And the original Rick was there. And he looks like Rick Prime. Rick Prime. So that's basically that episode. Episode 2. Rick, a Mort well lived. We're back at Blitzen Ships, baby! So Morty, Rick, and Summer are at Blitzen Chips in whatever that place is called. The video arcade, and they're playing Roy, a life well lived. But during the game, some alien terrorists came in and took over the arcade and cut the power, and it caused Roy to reset, trapping Morty's consciousness in the game, split among 5 million of the game's NPCs. Meanwhile, Rick, who's Roy, is in the game trying to convince all the NPCs that they're not real, that they're just a version of Morty. And they think it's a religion, so they all join, and the whole episode is that meanwhile, Summer's on the outside fighting off the terrorists, and Rick just tells her, just do a Die Hard. She said, what's a Die Hard? He said, crawl around and then sneak around. You've never seen Die Hard? She said, no, I'm 17. I've never seen Die Hard. So he said, well, good for you, because the guy in Die Hard never saw it either. Oh, I was cracking up. And so Summer just proceeds to sneak around like John McClane doing a Die Hard, but all she just says is, Die Hard, I'm doing a Die Hard, because she's never seen the movie. And so the terrorist dude is like a Die Hard expert who's basically Hans Gruber. And his terrorist man, like at one point, she kills one of the guys, and the alien brother gets all bad. It's so funny. The whole episode is like Die Hard mixed with Inception, I guess. I don't know. It's so crazy. Meanwhile, in the world, all the Mortys think Rick is like a god, and they start treating him like a religion. He's like, it's not a religion. You guys are all my nephew. It's so crazy. So by the end, he convinces everyone to join. But at first they know that this whole war it's like a holy war breaks out in the game against the people who want to stay and the people who believe they're. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So between that and Summer outside doing the Die Hard, the whole thing with her doing the Die Hard was hilarious. When the dude was like, well, she's never seen Die Hard, so she's not really doing Die Hard, so we can't follow the script of Die Hard. But then when they're following the script of Die Hard, he said, you said don't follow the script of Die Hard. No! Shoot the glass! Kill her! It was so great. This episode was so fucking funny. Oh my god, I was dying. So, in the end, they get Morty and those guys out via a bunch of ships and Morty's consciousness. Rick was going to leave because every percent of them, so they needed to get all of the people out in order for Morty's consciousness to be fully percent. Rick was content with just leaving like 8% of them in the game. And he was like, 8% of anything is fine. 8% of pizza is crust. 8% of the Snyder Cut was Batman dreaming. You'll be fine, Morty. But Morty's like, no, we're getting all of me. So at the end, he gets all of Morty out except for like the one lady who was because there was this one Morty who was like who was Jewish, even though Morty didn't know what Jewish was, because they only have the consciousness of Morty's memory, so they know it. Like, it was this one military dude who was like, I'm in the military, I'm a little racist, but I got a friend from another country. It was so stupid. This show's awesome. I just love Rick and Morty so much. I'm sure I'm glossing over a bunch of stuff, but the second episode was just as funny. The bonus scene at the end, they were doing Die Hard 3, but you know the scene in Die Hard 3 when John McClane has on the sign that says, I hate niggas? In this one, they just had on a sign that says, I hate everybody. He said, I don't think we were specific enough with the sign. He said, who does it offend? He said, everybody. But nobody was going down to him. And he was like, I miss my brother. It was so stupid. It was so stupid. The whole thing about Summer not knowing Die Hard. And then in the game, they convinced all the people, well, we got to get out and help Summer do her Die Hard. And everybody slowly started converting to Mortys. They were wearing yellow shirts and they started jerking off all the time. It was so stupid. It's so stupid. I love Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty. Season 6, episodes 1 and 2 knocked it out the park. I'm so happy. I'm so happy the show's back. That's it. That's my breakdown. I'm sure I left some stuff out. It's not a blow by blow. You guys know that. I just love to make myself laugh thinking about this show. So until next time, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Click those notifications so you know when we upload. Make sure you check out the travel vlogs. Vegas was crazy. It was crazy. And I'm going to share everything I did with you guys. So make sure you subscribe. Until next time, you know how we do. Peace. 100.
I'ma go to the ends with you. I'ma go to the end with you. I'ma go.